Did you know that remote workers are over a third more likely to be laid off than their in-office counterparts? According to this Wall Street Journal article, white-collar employers logging on from home 5 days a week were 35% more likely to be laid off in 2023 than their peers who put in at least some office time. In today's video, I'm going to share the top reasons this is the case, as well as 5 things you can do to mitigate your risk of getting laid off as a work from home employee. Side note, if at the end of this you still want a remote job, I've linked my complimentary remote job search masterclass below, which will show you the ins and outs of landing the right work from home job for you. But first, hello and welcome. If you're new to me, I'm Kristen Zavo. I'm a certified career coach who helps high achievers to land and thrive in their dream roles. Before launching my coaching practice full-time, I spent 15 plus years in traditional corporate roles, including time in banking, consulting, finance, marketing, and strategy. You may have seen my work in publications like the Wall Street Journal, Forbes, Fortune Magazine, WGN9 Chicago, and more. I'm also the best-selling author of Job Joy, Your Guide to Success, Meaning, and Happiness in Your Career, which you can find on Amazon, linked below, as well as all major bookstores. Subscribe for job search plus general career support, and be sure to stay until the end because the 5th tip is one I consider most important and empowering for those seeking more flexible work arrangements. There are a multitude of reasons that remote workers are many times first on the chopping block when it comes to layoffs. These 3 reasons are weaker interpersonal relationships, less visibility, and the perception of lower productivity. Whether or not you agree, it's smart to at least understand these reasons and where leadership might be coming from so that you can choose a culture and a company that is a better fit, and so that you can navigate this in a way to get ahead of any potential issues. So first, weaker interpersonal bonds. What this really comes down to is the fact that seeing someone in person, having more casual interactions, makes for a stronger connection and thus more difficulty when it comes to choosing that person to lay off as compared to an at-home counterpart. It might not be fair. After all, some of us don't want to bring any of our personal lives into the workplace, but it does make sense. Basic psychology is that we care more about the people we know and like, which is simply and logistically more difficult, although not impossible, through online connection only. Then there's the lower visibility issue, aka out of sight, out of mind. Working hard and hoping to get noticed has never been a good strategy for career growth, but this is especially emphasized in a remote environment. This is exacerbated by the fact that many of us love remote work because we don't have to interact as much. It can be an introvert's dream, but it does result in our work, our achievements, and our impact being less noticeable to leadership. Simply put, the problem is if your work isn't seen, by definition, it can't be appreciated and you won't be valued for all that you bring to your role. And finally, we have the issue of the perception of lower productivity. This is a big one and not necessarily true, as productivity from home depends on so many factors, including the job, the industry, the culture, leadership, and of course, the personality, motivators, and environment of the employee. Even though it's true that many professionals, myself included, actually get way more done when they're not in the office, they save time without a commute, there are less interruptions, and so on, the fact remains that there is still this old school idea, no matter how dated, that if leadership can't see the person, they're not actually working. And memes like this, or this, although funny, certainly don't help to calm these oftentimes unfounded concerns. Now that we understand why work from home employees get penalized when it comes to layoffs, let's talk about what you as a remote worker can do to counteract these issues. First off, be sure to get FaceTime with your manager. This could mean showing up at the office once or twice a week, even once a month, or having regular Zoom calls where everyone is on camera. Number 2, show more of yourself and try to see your colleagues as whole people. Just as you would in an in-person environment, get to know your coworkers beyond just the work they do. What has them excited about work? How do they spend their free time? What motivates them? Be open to sharing more of yourself too. And this is not to say that you have to get into details about your personal life life, but it's okay to talk about your obsession with tennis, that you just got a new puppy, and or that you make art on the weekends. The point is that these little details make you feel and seem like more of the real person that you are. Number 3 is to share your wins. And if you're not in the habit of doing this, if you don't feel comfortable bragging, I know this can be really difficult, but it's so important to make a routine out of sharing your goals and your achievements with your boss and or creating the space and the routine for your direct reports to do this with you. So I want you to promise me no more heads down, work hard, and wait to receive that gold star. It's your responsibility to make sure that the right people know all the great work you're doing. And if you hate to brag, frame it as an update. Number 4 is to understand the culture and the politics of your organization or of the organization that you're interviewing with to determine how they view remote workers. Is the path up the corporate ladder of remote workers slower than that of in-office employees? Some organizations are simply better equipped than others to manage and value their remote teams. Okay, on to the 5th way that you can lower your chances of getting laid off due to your at-home status, which, like I said at the beginning, this is probably most important. It's about making a conscious, eyes wide open decision that is best for you based on your definition of success. Even with all the risks, the flexibility, and the autonomy that come with remote work might still be worth it to you based on what you value in your life, based on your lifestyle, based on your season of life. The key is to consciously decide that you're okay with that, while also doing all of the above to mitigate said risk, rather than ignore the reality and be blindsided when it does affect you. Your turn now. Which of the tips resonates most with you? Are there any you'd add? Tell me in the comments below. And as always, thank you for watching until the end. If you got something from today's video, please give it a like and subscribe. This is a big help to me and allows me to keep creating this free content to support you in being happier at work. See you next time.